The grand hall of the Galactic Assembly buzzed with a cacophony of voices, each speaking in their native tongues, while universal translators worked overtime to maintain the semblance of order. Representatives from over 1,000 species occupied the massive amphitheater, their forms as diverse as the stars that dotted the cosmos. Some floated in anti-gravity bubbles, others slithered across the floor, and a few existed as pure energy contained within specialized suits. High Counselor Zixnera, a tall, willowy being with iridescent skin, called for order. Her melodious voice cut through the din, silencing the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her 4 eyes scanning the crowd, "we face a crisis unlike any our galaxy has encountered in millennia." The holographic display at the center of the hall flickered to life, showing a star map of the Outer Rim territories. Red dots blinked ominously, spreading like a virus across the map. "The Void Horde continues its relentless advance," Zixnera continued, her voice grave. 12 systems have fallen in the past solar cycle alone. Our combined fleets have proven insufficient. A ripple of unease passed through the assembly. The Void Horde, a mysterious swarm of biomechanical entities, had appeared from the depths of intergalactic space 6 months ago. Their hunger for resources and their ability to assimilate technology had made them a nightmare to combat. Ambassador Kral of the Tundari Imperium, a burly reptilian with scurred scales, rose to speak. "High Counselor, with all due respect, we cannot continue this defensive strategy. The Horde grows stronger with each world they consume. We must strike back, and strike hard." Murmurs of agreement echoed through the hall. The Tundari were known for their martial prowess, and many looked to them for leadership in times of war. "And how do you propose we do that, Ambassador?" came a raspy voice from the lower tiers. Ambassador Elix of the Zorlak Consortium, an arachnid-like being, clicked his mandibles in irritation. "Our shipyards are already at maximum capacity. We cannot build ships fast enough to replace our losses." The debate raged on, with various factions arguing for different strategies. Some proposed evacuating the Outer Rim entirely. Others suggested unleashing forbidden weapons that could destroy entire star systems. The atmosphere grew tenser with each passing moment, the specter of impending doom looming over them all. It was in this charged environment that Ambassador Chen of Earth rose to speak. A hush fell over the assembly. Humans were a relatively new addition to the galactic community, having achieved faster-than-light travel only a few centuries ago. They had kept to themselves for the most part, engaging in trade but largely staying out of galactic politics. Chen, a middle-aged woman with streaks of gray in her black hair, cleared her throat. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice calm and measured, "Earth and her colonies have watched these proceedings with great interest. We share your concerns about the Void Horde and the threat they pose to galactic stability." Krull snorted derisively, "Watched with great interest. While the rest of us bleed and die, humans sit in their protected sectors, untouched by war. What would you know of our concerns?" Chen's expression remained impassive. "We know more than you might think, Ambassador. Humanity has not been idle these past centuries. We've studied the conflicts that have shaped this galaxy, learned from the mistakes and triumphs of other species, and we've prepared." Her words sparked a flurry of whispers throughout the hall. Zixnera leaned forward, intrigued. "Prepared how, Ambassador Chen?" "Earth is ready to join the fight against the Void Horde," Chen declared, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "We offer our fleets, our technology, and our soldiers to the cause." The silence that followed was deafening. Then, like a dam bursting, the hall erupted in a chaos of voices. Some expressed skepticism, others hope. A few, like Kral, openly scoffed at the idea. "You expect us to believe that humans, who have never fought in a galactic war, can turn the tide against the Void Horde?" Kral growled. "Your ships are centuries behind ours in technology. Your soldiers have no experience in cosmic combat. This is not some minor border skirmish, Ambassador. This is total war on a scale your species has never encountered. Chen's lips curved in a small, enigmatic smile. You're right, Ambassador Krall. Humanity has never fought in a galactic war. But that doesn't mean we haven't been preparing for one. She tapped a small device on her wrist, and suddenly, the holographic display changed. It showed Earth, but not as the Assembly knew it. The planet was surrounded by a vast network of orbital platforms, shipyards, and defense systems that dwarfed anything the other races had constructed. For centuries, we've maintained the illusion of a peaceful, somewhat primitive species, Chen explained as gasps and exclamations filled the hall. All the while, we've been building, innovating, and training. The fleets we're offering aren't relics, but the most advanced warships in the galaxy. Our soldiers aren't inexperienced recruits, but highly trained specialists prepared for cosmic warfare. Zixnera's eyes widened in astonishment. But why? Why hide all this? Chen's expression turned solemn. Because, High Counselor, humanity has a long and bloody history. We've seen firsthand how fear and misunderstanding can lead to devastating conflicts. When we reached the stars, we made a choice. We would prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. We would learn from the galaxy without influencing it unduly, and we would be ready when a threat like the Void Horde emerged. The assembly buzzed with a mixture of excitement, disbelief, and no small amount of fear. The humans, it seemed, had been the silent vanguard all along, waiting in the shadows for the moment when they would be needed most. Krell, his earlier bravado somewhat deflated, growled, "And we're supposed to just trust you. How do we know this isn't some elaborate ploy to seize power while we're vulnerable?" Chen met his gaze steadily. "You don't have to trust us, Ambassador. But ask yourself this, can you afford not to accept our help? The Void Horde is at our doorstep. Humanity is offering you a key to survival. Will you take it?" As the assembly erupted into fierce debate once more, Zixnera watched Chen carefully. The human's revelation had changed everything. The galaxy stood on the precipice of a new era, one where humanity would step out of the shadows and into the harsh light of interstellar conflict. The question that hung in the air, unspoken but felt by all, was simple. Had the galaxy just found its savior, or had it welcomed an even greater threat into its midst? Only time would tell. The reluctant ambassadors. The aftermath of Ambassador Chen's revelation sent shockwaves through the Galactic Assembly. For days, emergency sessions were held. Accusations flew, and conspiracy theories ran rampant. Some species recalled their ambassadors, others demanded immediate inspections of Earth's military capabilities. Through it all, the human delegation remained calm, almost maddeningly so. A week after the initial announcement, a summit was called. The location, neutral space, aboard the massive diplomatic vessel Concordia. Representatives from the top 50 spacefaring civilizations were in attendance, along with military advisors and intelligence officers. The human delegation, led by Ambassador Chen, found themselves at the center of attention. Admiral Jokarian of the Arcturus Confederation, a being of living crystal, spoke first. His voice resonated through the chamber like the chiming of bells. "Humanity claims to have technology surpassing our own, yet you've shared nothing. How convenient that you offer help only when the galaxy is on its knees." Chen, dressed in a simple but elegant blue suit, stood to address the gathering. "Admiral, we understand your skepticism. But consider this. Had we revealed our true capabilities earlier, how would the galaxy have reacted? Fear, mistrust, perhaps even preemptive strikes against Earth. We chose secrecy not out of malice, but out of a desire for peace." "Peace," scoffed Krall, the Tundari ambassador from the previous assembly. "You prepared for war while pretending to be peaceful. That's duplicity, not diplomacy." A murmur of agreement rippled through the chamber. Chen's expression remained impassive, but her eyes flickered briefly to her right, where General Asaka Naomi of the Earth Defense Force sat. The general gave an almost imperceptible nod. "You're right, Ambassador Krall. Chen said, her voice carrying a hint of steel. We prepared for war. We prepared because we studied history, not just Earth's, but the galaxies. How many civilizations have been wiped out because they weren't ready? How many times has this assembly watched helplessly as another species fell to invaders or natural disasters? She tapped a control, and a holographic display sprang to life, showing scenes from various conflicts throughout galactic history. The Zorax incursion, the Plague Wars, the collapse of the Bennu Collective. In each of these crises, the galaxy scrambled to respond, and trillions paid the price. The chamber fell silent as the images played out. Many of the older species shifted uncomfortably, memories of past failures weighing heavily upon them. High Counselor Zixnera leaned forward, her iridescent skin shimmering under the chamber's lights. Your point is taken, Ambassador Chen. But it doesn't change the fact that Earth has upset the balance of power in the galaxy. How can we trust that you won't use this crisis to establish human dominance? Chen's lips curved in a sad smile. High Counselor, if domination was our goal, we wouldn't be here. We would have let the Void Horde weaken you further before revealing ourselves. Instead, we're offering our help freely, asking only for cooperation in return. Cooperation. Elix of the Zorlak Consortium chittered, or subservience. Your fleet could easily overpower any single species here. Which is precisely why we're proposing a joint command structure, General Asaka interjected, speaking for the first time. All eyes turned to the stern-faced woman. Humanity doesn't seek to lead this war effort alone. We want to integrate our forces with yours, combining our strengths. The general stood, her posture ramrod straight. I've reviewed the combat footage from engagements with the Void Horde. Each of your species brings unique tactical advantages. The Tundaree's battle meditation techniques, Zorlak swarm tactics, Arcturus energy manipulation. Combined with Earth's technology and strategic doctrines, we could create the most formidable fighting force this galaxy has ever seen. A thoughtful silence fell over the chamber. The idea was audacious, but the potential was undeniable. Ambassador Krall, however, wasn't satisfied. Pretty words, but they mean nothing without proof. We need to see these miraculous ships, these advanced weapons you claim to possess. Chen and General Asaka exchanged glances. This was the moment they had prepared for. Very well, Chen said. We propose a joint military exercise, a demonstration of Earth's capabilities, and a chance to begin integrating our forces. We'll show you everything. Our ships, our weapons, our tactics. In return, we ask for a commitment to this alliance. If we're to defeat the Void Horde, we need trust on both sides. The chamber erupted in heated discussion. Some representatives were eager to see human technology in action. Others were wary of what such a demonstration might reveal. As the debate raged, Chen felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to find Zixnera standing beside her. A bold move, Ambassador, the High Counselor said quietly. But I wonder, are you truly prepared for the consequences? If this alliance forms, there's no going back. Humanity will be irrevocably tied to the fate of the galaxy. Chen met Zixnera's four-eyed gaze steadily. With respect, High Counselor, we already are. The Void Horde won't stop at the edges of human space. We're all in this together, whether we like it or not. Zixnera studied Chen for a long moment, then nodded. Very well. I will support your proposal. As the High Counselor moved to address the chamber, Chen allowed herself a small sigh of relief. It was a start, but she knew the real challenges lay ahead. Humanity was about to step onto the galactic stage in full view, and the universe would never be the same. The next few hours were a flurry of negotiations, with the human delegation working tirelessly to address concerns and hammer out the details of the joint exercise. By the time the summit adjourned, a tentative agreement had been reached. In 1 week's time, a combined fleet would gather in the Theta Nebula for a comprehensive demonstration of Earth's military might. As Chen boarded the shuttle back to the human flagship, She felt the weight of history on her shoulders. They had committed humanity to a path from which there was no return. The secrets of centuries were about to be unveiled. Was it the right call? She asked General Asaka as they strapped in for departure. The general's face was grim but determined. "It's the only call, Ambassador. We always knew this day would come. Now we just have to make sure we're ready for what follows." As the shuttle detached from the Concordia, Chen gazed out at the star-filled void. Somewhere out there, the Void Horde was advancing, consuming worlds and civilizations in its path. And humanity, the silent vanguard, was finally stepping forward to meet the threat. The reluctant ambassadors had made their choice. Now, it was time to show the galaxy what humanity could really do. The first strike. The Theta Nebula shimmered with a kaleidoscope of colors, its vast clouds of gas and dust creating a breathtaking backdrop for the assembled fleet. Ships from 24 species hung in the void, their designs as varied as the civilizations that created them. Sleek Arcturus cruisers glowed with internal energy. Massive Tundari dreadnoughts bristled with weapon emplacements. Zorlak hive ships pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. And yet, all eyes were on the patch of seemingly empty space where the human fleet was set to arrive. Aboard the Galactic Assembly command ship Unity, Ambassador Chen stood with High Counselor Zixnera and the other chief representatives. The tension on the bridge was palpable. "They're late," growled Krall, checking his chronometer for the third time in as many minutes. Chen smiled quietly. "Patience, Ambassador. Punctuality is a relative concept when dealing with experimental propulsion systems." As if on cue, space itself seemed to ripple. A massive portal, shimmering with energy of an unknown type, tore open in the fabric of reality, and through it came the ships of Earth. Gasps and exclamations filled the Unity's bridge. The human vessels were unlike anything the assembled species had ever seen. They didn't so much fly through space as glide through it, their hulls seeming to bend the very light around them. At the head of the formation was a ship that dwarfed even the largest Tundari dreadnought, its surface a shifting pattern of blacks and grays that made it hard for the eye to focus on. "By the first ones," whispered Zixnera, her 4 eyes wide with astonishment. "What manner of technology is this?" Chen's reply was interrupted by an incoming transmission. The main view screen flickered to life, showing the bridge of the lead human vessel. General Asaka stood at its center, her uniform crisp and her expression resolute. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Assembly," she said, her voice clear and strong. "The Earth Defense Force stands ready to demonstrate our capabilities and begin joint exercises." What followed was a display of military prowess that left the assembled aliens in awe. Human ships performed maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics, their energy shields shrugging off weapons fire that would have vaporized lesser vessels. Fighters the size of shuttles outmaneuvered capital ships, while larger craft unleashed weaponry that could reshape the very terrain of a planet. But it was the flagship, christened the Horizon, that truly showcased the extent of human advancement. At Asaka's command, it activated a device that bent gravity itself, creating a localized singularity that could be used for both offense and defense. As the demonstration reached its climax, alarms blared across every ship in the fleet. "Multiple contacts incoming," shouted a sensor operator on the Unity. Energy signatures matched known Void Horde configurations. The jubilant atmosphere evaporated in an instant, replaced by cold dread. The Void Horde, it seemed, had decided to crash the party. "All ships, battle stations," Zixnera commanded, her earlier awe replaced by the steel of a veteran leader. "Form up on." "Belay that order," General Asaka's voice cut through the chaos. All eyes turned to the view screen. "With respect, High Counselor, we've prepared for this contingency. Ambassador Chen, if you would." Chen nodded, her earlier diplomatic demeanor falling away to reveal a sharp tactical mind. "The Void Horde likely detected the energy emissions from our demonstration. They'll be expecting a disorganized, panicked response. Instead, We're going to give them a taste of what a truly unified galaxy can do. She quickly outlined a battle plan that integrated the strengths of each species' fleet with the advanced capabilities of the human ships. The Arcturus cruisers would use their energy manipulation to amplify the Horizon's gravity weapon. Tundari battle meditation would be channeled through human neural interfaces, allowing for unprecedented coordination. Zorlak swarm tactics would be applied to a new class of human microdrones, creating an almost unstoppable interceptor screen. As the Void Horde entered the system, they faced not a scattered, fearful defense, but a cohesive fighting force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations to come. Void Horde bioships, accustomed to overwhelming their prey, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their adaptive technology, which had proven so effective against individual species, struggled to cope with the combined tactics of the Ally fleet. At the heart of the conflict, the Horizon demonstrated the full extent of its power. It opened micro-wormholes to redirect enemy fire, used its gravity weapons to tear apart the largest void constructs, and coordinated the entire battle through its advanced AI systems. Ambassador Krull, watching from the Unity, shook his head in disbelief. All this time, he muttered, we thought humans were hiding out of fear, but they were waiting, preparing, not hiding. Chen corrected gently. Watching, learning. We studied every conflict, every strategy. We took the best of what the galaxy had to offer and combined it with our own innovations. This, she gestured to the battle raging outside, is the result. As the last of the Void Horde ships fell silent, a cheer went up across the Ally fleet. It was more than just a victory. It was a revelation. The galaxy had just witnessed the birth of a new era in warfare. In the aftermath, as damage reports came in and celebrations began, Chen found herself approached by High Counselor Zixnera. I owe you an apology, Ambassador, the High Counselor said softly. We misjudged humanity. But I fear, she paused, choosing her words carefully, I fear we may have simply exchanged one potential threat for another. Chen met Zixnera's gaze steadily. Your concern is understandable, High Counselor. Humanity's power, revealed so suddenly, must seem overwhelming. But consider this, we could have conquered the galaxy years ago. Instead, we chose to wait, to reveal ourselves only when faced with a threat to all sentient life. She gestured to the view screen, where human and alien crews could be seen working side by side to repair battle damage. This is what we've worked towards. Not domination, but cooperation. A galaxy united not by fear, but by mutual respect and common purpose. Zixnera considered this for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Perhaps you're right, but the road ahead will not be easy. Trust, once broken, is not easily regained. No, Chen agreed, it isn't, but it's a journey we must make together. The Void Horde is wounded, but not defeated. And I suspect they're not the only threat lurking in the dark between the stars. As the Allied fleet began preparations to return to Galactic Assembly space, the mood was one of cautious optimism. Humanity had proven itself a powerful ally, but questions remained. How would this shift in power dynamics affect galactic politics? What other secrets might humans be keeping? And perhaps most pressingly, now that the Void Horde had faced this new unified force, how would they adapt? The first strike had been a resounding victory, but the war was far from over. The silent vanguard had finally spoken, and the galaxy would never be the same. The hidden arsenal. In the wake of the battle at Theta Nebula, the Galactic Assembly found itself grappling with a new reality. Humanity, long dismissed as a minor player in cosmic affairs, had revealed itself to be a technological and military juggernaut. As news of the victory spread, questions and concerns multiplied. To address these, a special conclave was called on Earth itself, the first time many species had set foot on the human homeworld. The delegates were shuttled to a location that, until recently, had not existed on any official map, Olympus Base, nestled deep within the Mariana Trench. As their transport submersible descended into the abyssal depths, Ambassador Chen briefed the assembled representatives. Olympus Base is just one of many hidden installations humanity has maintained over the centuries. It's here that much of our advanced research and development takes place. The base itself was a marvel of engineering, a sprawling complex of interconnected domes and tunnels, protected from the crushing pressures of the deep ocean by force fields that seemed to defy the laws of physics. As the delegates disembarked, they were greeted by Dr. Amelia Xiang, Earth's foremost expert on xenotechnology and the lead scientist of Project Vanguard. "Welcome to Olympus," Dr. Chiang said, her voice tinged with both pride and apprehension. "What you're about to see is the culmination of centuries of work, the hidden arsenal that humanity has been building since we first realized we weren't alone in the universe." The tour that followed was nothing short of mind-bending. The delegates were shown laboratories where scientists manipulated gravity as easily as one might shake clay. They witnessed the construction of quantum computers that could process more information in a second than most civilizations' entire digital infrastructure. But it was the historical exhibits that truly drove home the scope of humanity's secret preparations. In a vast chamber lined with holographic displays, Dr. Xiang revealed the true history of human technological development. In 2047, she explained, a probe returning from the outer edges of our solar system brought back something unprecedented, a fragment of alien technology. The display showed the object, a small, innocuous-looking piece of metal that pulsed with an inner light. This discovery changed everything. We realized not only that we weren't alone, but that we were woefully unprepared for what lay beyond our world. What followed was a centuries-long global effort unlike anything in human history. Nations set aside their differences, pooling resources and knowledge in a secret program to advance human technology at an unprecedented rate. The alien fragment was reverse-engineered, leading to breakthroughs in energy production, material science, and propulsion. But we knew it wasn't enough to simply copy alien technology, Dr. Xiang continued. We needed to innovate, to create defenses and weapons that no other species would expect. The delegates were shown simulations of Earth's early, secret forays into space, cloaked ships venturing to distant star systems, gathering intelligence, and occasionally retrieving artifacts and materials for study. All the while, Earth maintained its facade of being a relatively primitive, peaceful species. Ambassador Krell, his earlier skepticism giving way to a grudging respect, posed the question that was on everyone's mind. Why? Why go to such lengths to hide your true capabilities? It was General Asaka who answered, her voice solemn. Because, Ambassador, we had seen the pattern play out countless times in our own history. When a technologically superior force encounters a less advanced one, the results are often catastrophic for the latter. We didn't know whether the galaxy at large would view us as a threat or as prey. So we chose to hide, to watch, and to prepare for either eventuality. The tour culminated in a massive hangar where a new class of ship was under construction. Dr. Xiang gestured to the skeletal framework with undisguised pride. This is the next step in our evolution, a vessel capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time. With this, we could potentially create stable wormholes, allowing for near-instantaneous travel across the galaxy. The implications were staggering. Such technology would revolutionize not just warfare, but trade, exploration, and communication on a galactic scale. High Counselor Zixnera, who had been uncharacteristically quiet throughout the tour, finally spoke. "This is overwhelming. The level of advancement, the scope of your preparations. It's clear now that humanity has been the silent vanguard of the galaxy for centuries. But I must ask, what are your intentions now? With power like this, you could dominate the Galactic Assembly with ease." Chen exchanged glances with Dr. Xiang and General Asaka before responding. "High Counselor, distinguished delegates, humanity's goal has never been domination. We hid our capabilities out of caution, Yes, but also out of a genuine desire for peaceful coexistence. What we offer now is partnership. She gestured around the vast complex. Everything you've seen here, every advancement, every innovation, we're prepared to share with the Galactic Assembly. In return, we ask for true collaboration. The Void Horde is but one of many potential threats facing our galaxy. United, with the combined knowledge and strengths of all our species, we can face whatever challenges the universe has in store. The chamber fell silent as the delegates absorbed the magnitude of the offer. It was Elix of the Zorlak Consortium who broke the silence, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully. A partnership, you say? But surely you realize this would irrevocably alter the balance of power in the galaxy. Many will fear you, even as they covet your technology. Fear is understandable, General Asaka acknowledged. But consider the alternative. The Void Horde caught us all unprepared, except for humanity. How many other threats might be lurking in the dark between the stars? Can any of us afford to face them alone? As discussions erupted among the delegates, Chen found herself approached by a being she hadn't noticed before. A shimmering, ethereal creature that seemed to phase in and out of visibility. It introduced itself as an observer from the reclusive Axiom Collective, a species so advanced they were thought to be mythical by many. Impressive, the Axiom observer whispered, its voice like chimes in the wind. We had our suspicions about your kind, but this exceeds our expectations. Perhaps you humans are ready to shoulder the burden after all. Before Chen could ask what the observer meant, it had vanished, leaving her with a sense of both wonder and unease. It seemed humanity's hidden arsenal had attracted attention from more than just the Galactic Assembly. As the tour concluded and the delegates prepared to return to the surface, the mood was one of cautious excitement tinged with apprehension. Humanity had laid its cards on the table, revealing a hand more powerful than anyone had imagined. The question now was how the galaxy would respond to this seismic shift in the cosmic order. The silent vanguard had revealed its hidden arsenal. The next moves would determine the fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life in the galaxy. The new galactic order. The months following the revelation of humanity's true capabilities were a whirlwind of activity across the galaxy. The Galactic Assembly, once a forum for debate and minor policy decisions, had transformed into a hive of frenzied diplomacy and technological exchange. Earth had become the center of a new renaissance, with delegates from thousands of worlds flocking to learn, trade, and forge alliances. But even as cooperation flourished, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Some species, particularly those with long-standing galactic influence, viewed humanity's rise with suspicion and fear. Others sought to curry favor, hoping to gain privileged access to Earth's advanced technology. And through it all, the Void Horde continued its relentless advance, adapting to each new strategy the Allied forces employed. It was against this backdrop that the final confrontation began. The Gatherer, largest of the Void Horde's bioships and seat of its hive intelligence, had been located in the Scutum Centaurus arm, preparing for a massive push into the heart of populated space. The Galactic Assembly, bolstered by human technology and tactics, mustered the largest fleet in cosmic history to meet this threat. Aboard the Horizon, now the flagship of the Allied forces, Ambassador Chen stood with High Counselor Sixnera, General Asaka, and representatives from 24 of the galaxy's most powerful species. The view screen showed an armada that stretched beyond the limits of vision, a testament to the new unity forged in the crucible of war. We've come a long way, Sixnera mused, her iridescent skin shimmering with tension. Who would have thought, a year ago, that we'd be standing here, about to face our greatest threat together? Chen nodded, her expression a mixture of determination and concern. Indeed, but let's not celebrate yet. The Void Horde has proven incredibly adaptable. This battle will test us all. As if on cue, alarms blared across the fleet. The Gatherer had been sighted, and it was not alone. Surrounding it was a swarm of void ships, unlike anything they'd encountered before. twisted amalgamations of stolen technology and corrupted biomatter. By the cosmic core, breathed Ambassador Krell, his scales paling. They've assimilated our advancements. Look, those ships have Arcturus energy signatures, Zorlak biotech, and human gravitic weapons. General Asaka finished grimly. This is what we feared. The Horde doesn't just consume. It learns, adapts, evolves. For a moment, fear threatened to unravel the Allied fleet's resolve. But then, something unexpected happened. The Axiom Observer, silent and invisible since its brief appearance on Earth, materialized on the horizon's bridge. "You stand at a crossroads," it intoned, its voice resonating with otherworldly power. "This is more than a battle for survival. It is a test, one that every spacefaring civilization must face. How you meet this challenge will determine the fate of not just your species, but of all sentient life in this galaxy." Before anyone could respond, the observer vanished once more. But its words had struck a chord. Chen looked around at the assembled leaders, seeing in their eyes a renewed determination. "The axiom is right," she declared. "This is our test, not as individual species, but as a united galaxy. We've spent the past months sharing knowledge, integrating our technologies. Now it's time to prove that we're stronger together than we ever were apart." What followed was a battle of epic proportions. The Void Horde attacked with a ferocity born of desperation, its assimilated technologies making it a far deadlier foe than ever before. But the Allied fleet responded with a level of coordination and strategic brilliance that would have been impossible without the bonds forged in recent months. Arcturus cruisers channeled energy through human gravitic lenses, creating weapons of unprecedented power. Tundari battle meditation, enhanced by Zorlak hive-mind interfaces, allowed entire battle groups to move with single-minded purpose. And at the heart of it all, Earth's most closely guarded secret was finally unveiled. A network of AI constructs that could predict and counter the Void Horde's adaptive strategies in real time. The space around the Gatherer became a maelstrom of energy, matter, and bent space-time. Stars were born and died in miniature. Singularities opened and closed like blossoming flowers of destruction. It was a battle fought not just in three-dimensional space, but across multiple planes of existence. In the end, it came down to a final desperate gambit. The horizon, its systems strained to the breaking point, opened a massive wormhole directly in the path of the Gatherer. As the monstrous bioship was drawn in, weapons from 100 different species converged on a single point, guided by human targeting systems and amplified by technologies beyond mortal ken. The resulting explosion was visible across half the galaxy, a new star born from the death of an abomination. As the light faded and sensor readings confirmed their victory, a cheer went up across the Allied fleet. The Void Horde, without its guiding intelligence, fell into disarray. Cleanup operations would take years, but the existential threat had been neutralized. In the aftermath, as the fleet began the long journey home, the leaders gathered once more on the horizon's bridge. The mood was one of exhausted elation, but also of quiet contemplation. "So," Krall rumbled, breaking the silence, "where do we go from here? Humanity's power is undeniable. The galaxy will never be the same." Chen looked out at the star-studded void, considering her words carefully. "You're right, Ambassador. Things will change, but not in the way you might think. Humanity doesn't seek to rule the galaxy. We've seen firsthand the power of true cooperation, of unity and diversity. What we propose is a new galactic order, not built on fear or domination, but on mutual respect and shared progress." She turned to face the assembled leaders. "We'll share our technology, our knowledge, freely, but we ask that you do the same. Let this victory be the first step towards a truly united galaxy, one that can face whatever challenges the universe has in store." High Counselor Zixnera nodded slowly. "A noble goal, Ambassador, but the road ahead will not be easy. Trust takes time to build, and the scars of old conflicts run deep. Indeed, Chen agreed. But consider how far we've come already. A year ago, we were strangers, viewing each other with suspicion. Now, we fought side by side, shared technologies, saved each other's lives countless times. That's the foundation on which we'll build this new order. As discussions continued, plans being laid for the restructuring of the Galactic Assembly and the integration of Earth's hidden arsenal into the galactic community, the Axiom Observer appeared one last time. It regarded the gathered leaders with what might have been approval. "You have passed the test," it said simply. "The mantle is yours to bear. Use it wisely." And with that, it was gone, leaving behind a sense of both accomplishment and profound responsibility. In the years that followed, the galaxy underwent a transformation unlike any in its history. The new galactic order, with Earth and its once hidden technology at its heart, ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and progress. Old rivalries faded as species worked together to unlock the secrets of the universe. Exploration pushed ever outward, encountering new wonders and challenges that would have once seemed insurmountable. And through it all, humanity remembered its role as the silent vanguard. For they knew that somewhere out there, beyond the edges of known space, other threats might be lurking. But this time, they would face them not alone, but as part of a united galactic civilization. The silent vanguard had spoken, and the universe had listened. The dawn of a new age had begun.